Shalom, first and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rachakodash. The bond is to the apostles, and now there's that great millstone hold well, and emphasizes 100% truth. Much peace and blessings be unto you, hopeful. You let the push not this word of thought, truth, and sincerity. To all you Achim, I do say Shalom. I'm coming with a quick lesson, going to the book of Joel, the second chapter. Verse 1 doth read, Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and send an alarm on my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion. Now, a trumpet as an instrument, as a very loud device. As a matter of fact, if I recall correctly, you had Prince, the modern day Mozart, which, the apostles went into how Prince is the reincarnation of Mozart, or was a reincarnation because he's in the spirit world now, but it's so loud that Prince, when he was Mozart, right, when Mozart was on the scene, he had an immense fear of trumpets, and I think he had a seizure one time. His father tried to expose him to trumpets, so they're very alarming sound. The AI overview reads, the trumpet is a high-pitched brass instrument played by buzzing lips into a mouthpiece. Most standard trumpets are pitched in B flat and feature a metal tube bent into a loop with 3 piston valves that alter the pitch. These are your instrument depictions. Blow the trumpet in Zion. Anytime I know little trumpet, nor is it talking about a microphone. And I recall, I think it was the apostles, got on Jake when, they would use microphones because, that's just going, doing too much. Whereas that trumpet, however, really refers to your voice being raised up, lifting up your voice. Yeah, actually, that was in the book of Isaiah, if I recall correctly. Yes, Isaiah the 58th chapter, verse 4, which doth read, Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins. Which, if I get the blue letter real quick, I want to pull out the Hebrew. What the flip? Okay. So that word, cry, quad'ah, if I pronounced it right, Strong's H7120, 7121. I'm assuming it's quad'ah, right? Because it was not told, if I remember correctly, I was told where they emphasize the ah, and it's kind of like a glottal stop too. So it would be quad'ah, but quad'ah, if I recall correctly. Anyways, the other apostle Ronald said, it doesn't matter, do as you see fit, but the only true detrimental pronunciations are the names of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, as well as the names for salvation, right? Outline of biblical usage: to call out, recite, read, cry out, proclaim. To call, cry, utter a loud sound. A loud sound. Like a trumpet. What's it called? As a matter of fact, cry means to shout, but you also got what's known as a war cry. Or a battle cry. A battle cry or war cry is a yell or chant taken up in battle, usually by members in the same combatant group. Battle cries are not necessarily articulate, although they often aim to invoke patriotic religious sentiment. So, and the definition is a call made to rally soldiers for battle or to gather together participants in a campaign, to behoove you, motivate you, pump you up, hype you up, basically. They do that, to hype you up. A loud shout, yell, or chant used by fighters in combat. Its main goals are to boost courage and teamwork among allies while threatening the enemy. So it ain't talking about the physically weak, though. It's a common thing amongst the elect men. They've always cited and cried for the abominations there. But that was in the book of Ezekiel, the 9th chapter, actually. But what's it called? An example that comes to mind is our forefather Elijah. He cried, man. He cried. He was sort of vexed, man. For all the wickedness. But in this case, it ain't talking about to physically cry. Hey, moping about, at camp, it ain't gonna get you anywhere. You know, the men of the Lord made the mention how Yahweh ain't getting on his knees. He don't get on his knees. He don't beg. The Heavenly Father, he don't beg. He don't plead. You know, it's like he does plead. He don't beg. He don't beg. He don't get on his knees and beg. You know, he doesn't cry. He doesn't shed a tear talking about, oh, please, 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 I'm begging you. No. What's it called? More so to cry aloud, sparing not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet. Isaiah 58:1. It means to yell out loud at camp. You know, use your voice, be heard, be vocal. Which, you know, you have this one, Eve, a dumb bitch. She got on the prophets. She was like, I don't want you mansplaining me. What? Mansplaining. A man explains something to someone, typically a woman, in a manner regarded as condescending. It was not even condescending. It was not patronizing. You know, but her whole, what's it called, logic was that he was yelling. Well, what? Mofo, there are cars on the road. It is a busy street. It is goddamn L freaking A for a mother effing reason. That you have goddamn, what's it called, audacity to say mansplaining. Freaking retarded. Excuse my freaking French. You know, what's it called, that hope's going off. That batch was going off, man. But what's it called? The prophets. You know, they lifted their voice in order to be heard. Right. You're not gonna be whispering when you got sirens blaring. You know, else you might as well talk to the wind. You know, talking to the air. Right, what's it called? Blow you the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm. Yeah, so, lift your voice and sound an alarm on my holy mountain. Yeah, it ain't talking about, going up to no physical watchtower. Besides, if there was a physical watchtower, you would get in trouble because that's like a relic or like a landmark. Or, it's authorized. It's only for authorized personnel only. So ain't talking about physically going up to some, bushcraft, makeshift, a watchtower in the corner of at the corner of the city, and looking, for whatever. That's not. It's a metaphor. It's a figure of speech. Really sound an alarm. What's it called? My holy mountain. It makes the mention of bring awareness. Bring something. Bring awareness to something. Bring awareness to something. When you make aware, it means having knowledge or perception of a situation or fact, concerned and well informed about a particular situation or development. Or no, awareness. No. What's it called? Awareness. Bring awareness is what I'm looking for. My bad. To bring awareness means to share knowledge, focus attention, or build public understanding about a specific issue, cause, or problem so that people recognize its importance. To recognize its importance is, that's an important thing. That should be highlighted. Because it lets people think about what you're saying. You're basically giving them a head up. Hey, so on and so forth is going to go down. Yeah, so on and so forth is going to happen. Oh, really? Wow, tell me more. That's how it's supposed to be. Anyways, yes, I'm saying alarm in my holy mountain. Yeah, I'm on the people of Israel, man. That's something that's true. That's right to first and foremost. But, as it is written, like in Isaiah the 34th chapter, if I remember correctly, if that is the chapter I'm thinking about. Hey, teach, all nations, even the heathen would know even the heathen know some things and can hear some things, Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. Yeah, what's it called? Tremble. And sounding an alarm, and inhabitants of the land tremble. You know what comes to mind? The emergency alert system. the EAS, or the WEA, wireless emergency alert system, like the one that Babylon plays, that I've always had nightmares, not nightmares, but I would always get scared as a child hearing that loud, sharp, spiky, sound. It always gets scared. It always make me scared, but it always got my attention. So as an example, say something that brings attention. For the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand, and this day of the Lord is a very terrible day, a terrible day. And that's the end, the destruction. What's it called? Oh, Zephaniah. Same thing. Yep. I'll pull it out still. Zephaniah, the first chapter, verse 14. Yep. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near, and hasteth greatly, even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty men shall cry there bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, which is the same thing you read about in verse 2 about, the description. I wanted to find another precept though. Yeah, that was a precept I was looking for. It slipped the exact verse slipped my mind, even though I was quoted. Yeah, 2 Peter 3:10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements. It's like I'm gonna reread it. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. Yeah, so unexpecting, right? And as they say, peace and safety, but then sudden destruction cometh. Esau's always trying to, what's it called, so-called ease a situation. He be saying certain things to, not rile the public. Even though no matter what he does, he ends up riling the public. But, to those that live ignorantly, they live in bliss. As they say, ignorance is bliss. This will come as a thief in the night. A thief in the night, you go to sleep at night, you lock your doors, your windows, shut the blinds, the curtains, cover the people if you have a people cover, blah, blah, blah. What's it called, lock the garage. Do anything in your power to protect your home while you're unconscious. But then somehow they break in. So it's, as a shock, it's a surprise to you. Or, that good analogy referring to the destruction. You think nothing bad's gonna happen, but boom, it happens. And the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. And yeah, although this gospel was preached at the four corners of the earth, and it's been that way, that prophecy was already fulfilled, with the gospel being preached at the four corners of the earth. Yet there are still people that are ignorant, and said people that are ignorant best believe they're gonna drop the ghost when they see that thermonuclear fire, or certain other judgment come upon the earth. Like Yahweh's grand appearance, which will coincide with this great day of the Lord, because the Lord's not going to let this fire take his elect. He's going to deliver them. So anyways, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. With the great noise, and the elements shall melt with the fervent heat. The only association, the only thing I'm thinking about when you hear heaven, great noise, element, melt, fervent heat, those keywords right there: thermonuclear missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles, the ICBMs, the ways to destroy. Isaiah the 54th chapter verse 16 makes mention how, behold, I have created the smith above the coals in the furnace, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and waster to destroy, to really paraphrase. Alright, so that's what it's referring to. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat, the earth also, and the works that are therein shall be burned up. What's it called? I want to see something real quick though. How hot does an oven get? Standard kitchen ovens reach maximum cooking temperatures of 500 degrees Fahrenheit to 550, but specialized settings like self-cleaning modes can hit 850 degrees Fahrenheit to 1000 degrees Fahrenheit, and industrial or pizza ovens can exceed 3000 degrees Fahrenheit. Do elements melt within a burning oven? Under normal operations, an oven's heating elements will not melt, but if an element suffers an internal electrical short and uncontrolled grease fire, okay, yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. So, what about a missile? Missiles experience temperatures far hotter than any kitchen oven during flight, reaching 800 degrees Fahrenheit to over 5000 degrees Fahrenheit due to air friction, meaning their outer elements are engineered specifically not to melt under extreme heat. If we were to theoretically, that is not giving me what I want. If it blows up. Instant vaporization. Temperature can briefly is hot enough to instantly liquefy, vaporize nearby aluminum, titanium, blah blah blah. Yeah, it may not say it right here, but I know Akim have done certain exercises like that using AI, and we realized 200 million missiles, man. All over the place. Yeah, definitely burn with the fervent heat. Although it may not say it right there. Hey, but we know the things that are written there, things that are written therein, the scriptures are faithful and true. So, even though the AI, one of the prompts I gave it, was not able to, agree and say they burn, it will. And the elements shall melt with the fervent heat, and the earth also, and the works that are therein shall be burned up. I think I have it in my notes though, where it talks about certain missiles can burn. Alright, so all the works that are therein. What comes to mind when it comes to that word work? Activity involving mental, or not this one. Actually, I guess so. Yeah, physical effort. Yeah, because physically building a building. Right, you could look at it as buildings, just rather, yeah, then. Right. And what was I already forgot the preset. I accidentally lost it. Yeah, the earth also and the rest of there should be burned up. And that reminds me of Malachi. Why isn't it showing the words? Oh. Oops. Technical difficulties. Anyways. Right there. Malachi the first chapter verse 4. And whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, we will return and build desolate places. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border. Yeah, they shall throw down. No. But the Lord shall throw down. The Lord shall throw down, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the people, the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord Yahweh hath indignation forever. And that's going into that throwing down, talking about the missiles. Right, chapter 4, verse 1, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn. Well, I was talking about an oven right now. But it's going to be a hotter oven. And you have to realize an oven itself is already a closed system. And the earth is a closed system. If I recall correctly, one of the arguments about how the missile fire will not escape, the atmosphere, will not leave the atmosphere. It's confined, within the firmament, which is the ozone layer. Right. So burn as an oven. It's gonna be so hot. We have all those missiles pop, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh, that that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, that I shall leave them neither root nor branch. So this also ties back to 2 Peter 3 and 10, going to how it's going to burn up everything. Right? But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise in healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves in the stocks, and so on. Right? That will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. So fire, basically. I digress. Verse 2, Joel the 2nd chapter. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the morning. As the morning spread upon the mountains, which this is my favorite analogy. I love this verse so much because the way, it's written, as the morning spread upon the mountains. I love that analogy so much. That could represent, that the brightness of the sun, the luminescence. You could liken that to that fire spreading upon the mountain, covering the surface. It's dark right there. As the sun goes up, it casts its bright reflection upon the surface. As the morning spread upon the mountains. A great people and a strong that hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. And that ain't talking about no physical people though, right? It's talking about the ICBMs. Gloominess, clouds and thick darkness. You got did I say that right? This is a big thing. Yeah, a black, powdery, or flaky substance consisting largely of amorphous carbon produced by the incomplete burning of organic matter. Right, created through incomplete combustion of carbon-based fuels like wood, coal, oil, or gas. And you ever wonder why a battlefield, that was an accident. You ever wonder why a battlefield looks the way it does? Or at least, notice how modern battles look like this compared to ancient battles. Hold on, let me pull it out. You got some smoke here and there, but it's very superficial. And that's just a cloudy day. Not caused by man-made devices. Look how luscious that sky is. And obviously this is a freaking show, but you get the general gist of it. During battles, man, the sky ain't all smoggy and red like the way it is during modern battles. Because why? There's explosions. Explosions alter the atmosphere. They change the sky. This is the book of Isaiah, the 9th chapter, verse 5. For every battle of the warriors with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be worth of burning and fuel of fire. Shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Fire, it alters the sky. You look at the movie, or at least the remake, All Quiet on the Western Front. I know they do a good example of showing you all the smog, all that bull crap in the sky. Look at that. This is how ancient wars may have look like back then. On cloudy days, if not sunny days, it was all bright and happy. It could look like this during a battle. But through the centuries and up to now, and in World War III, it's gonna look like this. It's gonna look worse, actually. That's the battle for you. Okay, so there had not been ever the like, neither shall be. Yeah, ancient wars weren't like that. They were not like that. Neither shall be any more after. And why? Because after the Third World War, there won't be no more wars to fight. There'll be no more wars. Wars will cease to exist under the Israelite rule. What's it called? Isaiah the second chapter verse 4. And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares. Right now they're beating their plowshares into swords, and right now they're beating their pruning hooks into spears, because the Lord is mustering the host of battle. They're preparing for war. But after the missiles go kablamo, after that day of the Lord, after the day of the Lord, they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation. And why? Because the heathen nations will be all on the equal level, which is under us. There will be no superpower ranking. Okay, there will be no ranking. Oh, Russia's above China. Oh, China's above India. What's it called? Look, Esau. Esau they on top. Moab third, Elam fourth. So on and so forth. No. All the heathen nations will be on the same freaking level. They finna be on the same goddamn level, which is subjugated. Only the nation of Israel finna be on top. That's the supreme, nation. Right, Deuteronomy the 7th chapter verse 6. Chosen people above all nations, man. That's roughly paraphrase. So yeah, what's it called? Enter spears and the pruning hooks. Nation shall not was a keyword. Lift up sword against nation. Neither shall they learn war anymore. They're not going to learn war anymore. I remember the other Apostle Gabar in the lesson was, expressing his distaste. He was expressing his disgust, his absolute hatred for the modern day sword, and how he's happy that in the kingdom he's going to be able to destroy all them and all the remnants that we may find across. Right, so all these tactics, all these instruments, they're all going to cease to exist, and best believe they're not going to come up in secret and figure out how to use it. The only thing they're going to know is how to, wield that plowshare, man. All the martial arts, that'll come to naught. All they finna learn to do is rock this bad boy. All they finna do is do this, swords and the plowshares. They finna do that. The conversion of military weapons or technologies for peaceful civilian applications. Right. The conversion of military weapons or technologies for peaceful civilian applications, such as a plowshare, a thing to till the ground, if I recall. If that's what it's supposed to be. That's the heathen icon. Right there, you'll see this on a great scale throughout the kingdom. You'll see this, which when the heathen have these statues in place, they're all about peace. Mofo ain't no goddamn peace. That's how we in the kingdom. Especially now, right now is a time for war. A time to destroy. A time to cry, what's it called, mourn one night. Right now we in the bad times. Right now we in chaos. But you would definitely, see this being a thing in the kingdom, heathen literally breaking their swords in the plowshares, man. Spears and the pruning hooks. All the heathen finna learn to do is what's it called? All you finna see the heathen do is rock these bad boys, man. These McLeods. You got one side to cut fuel, and the other to rake the freaking leaves, dude. Oh, we got leaves on this pile. All right, bump up, move up. Get the leaves, rake the leaves. Pull them up in a pile. All right. I want 5 guys on bags. I want 5 guys on trash bags now ASAP. All right, 20 of you guys, start cutting lines, flattening out the terrain, all that crap. That's what they finna do. They get their Pulaskis and everything, Special hand tool used in fighting wildfires. Which actually, it's scientifically proven that, controlled fires are a good thing for the environment. So yeah, your slash and burn thing. You may see some fires going on here and there. But yeah, what's it called? Actually, I'm not sure there's a good tool to use. I mean, it says used fighting wildfires. I mean, what's it called? I'll keep my peace on it. Maybe there'll be wildfires. I'm not sure. Hopefully not. I don't know. I'll keep my peace on it. But I mean, there's a tool, right? You can use this to chop wood or whatever. Look at an axe. Chop. That's all they finna learn to do. Lumberjack that crap, man. The heathen, what's it called? Grabbing an axe, start swinging that crap. Cutting logs. All the heathen finna learn is do this. Massa, I have brought you 20 loads of 4x4 rustic mill run walnut planks. That's the kingdom for you, man. It ain't gonna be no, I brought you 20 heads. Nah, what the flip? Anyways, so yeah, they're not gonna learn war. Oh, House of Jacob, come in, let us walk in the light of the Lord. Yeah, what's it called? Hey, turn back, Come on, Jake, turn back. Anyways, another mention of the day of the Lord right there, verse 12. For the day of the Lord shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty, and upon everyone that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low. Anyways, they rest back. Yeah, Joel the 2nd chapter, verse 2. All right, so neither shall there be any more of it. Yeah, after there ain't gonna be no goddamn war, even to the years of many generations. More so eternity. We finna be nice in the kingdom. Ain't gonna be no. Israelite versus so on and so forth. No, we'll be the only party. What's a party, man? I always say this. I don't think I ever broke it down. A formal process of civil government or constitution. Another way could be a civilization, a kingdom, a dominion. Sovereignty or control the territory of sovereign government. Yeah, the Israelite government. Anyways, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. Right? A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is the garden of Eden before them. What comes to mind, man? Why the friggin' hell is it mentioning the Garden of Eden? Something that was so luscious, man. Something that was so luscious and fun and beautiful and just outright green. Because it's not gonna look green anymore. But it's telling you, before that fire it looks beautiful. After that fire it looks like fallout. So here, look at this, man. Look at this. This is your Garden of Eden right there. Look at all that. Look at God damn. It's not goddamn. It's God. Actually, yeah, it's goddamned. Lord is condemning it to hell. But God damn. Look at all that beauty, man. Fine, alluring beauty. You would want to smooch that. Hug tree. I hug trees, man. I literally hug trees. As a child, I would kiss trees. That's how much I love nature. Man, I could already smell this. I could already smell it just walking right there. God damn. Oh boy. That's your Garden of Eden. Look at these deciduous trees. I love deciduous trees. They are so beautiful. Look at this, yo. Look at this. Your Garden of Eden right there. That's a Garden of Eden right there. Or it's not the Garden of Eden, right? It's not the Fertile Crescent, but this is being described as such. It is as the Garden of Eden because of how luscious it looks like, right? The land is as the Garden of Eden. Look at this. Look, it looks fruitful. Look beautiful, beautiful. Bravo, right? Luscious, amazing, comely. It is absolutely comely. Look at this. As the Garden of Eden. As the Garden of Eden. Amazing. Imagine, what's it called, spending an evening, looking at the sunset like this. Look at these photos. Look at these luscious photos, man. Imagine being on that balcony and looking towards what's it called, the ocean, or just wherever the photo was taken. You're standing wherever the photo was taken, looking at that. It looks luscious, right? It looks very beautiful. But then, but then, but then, boom, a wasteland. It literally reads, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yeah, right. So what's it called? As that before the missile, in front of the missile, it's beautiful. It's nice green. But once that missile strikes, blows up, whether it's an airburst or it's on contact ground thing, and everything gets burned up with the fervent heat, what's the end of it? A desolate wilderness. This looks desolate, man. Fallout 4, I played this game, it's a good game. It is absolutely desolate. I mean, you got your survivors, you got your scavengers, you got random encounters and whatnot, but ain't nobody wanting to live here, man. You wouldn't want to live. I wouldn't want to live. I would not want to live there. I would not want to live there. This looks terrible. Everything's all dead. Everything's all hot, rusty, gross, and disgusting. Right, so, yea, and nothing shall escape them. Right, the appearance of them is the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run. And what's it called? The way it's describing them, that's not what man can do, man. Like the noise of chariots on top of the mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as strong people set in battle array. It ain't talking about no cavalry. It ain't talking about no cavalry either. Hey, what's it called? Them horses you read about in Revelation the 6th chapter, man. Ain't talking about no legit, literal, horses, flying around. Ain't talking about no flying pony. It's purely description. It's purely a figure of speech. The way it's being referred to as. These are your ICBMs. However, right before their faces the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness. Yeah, you can have people what's it called? Dropping. They need to be terrified, man. They finna be terrified. This finna be the people in the kingdom. In the day of the Lord. These are terrible examples. This is the best one so far. This is the best one. That's the best photo so far. That's to describe how it's gonna be. Before their faces, the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness, and so on. You can read the full chapter. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining, and the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong that executed this word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? And you get the general gist of this, referring to the ICBMs. And it's going to be, terrible to the point where the air shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. Right. A lake of fire. But I just wanted to end it off right there. Lord wills and edifying lesson to the next one. I do say shalom.